Sheng declared that all 20 martial saints present were garbage. At these words, all the martial saints were shocked and their jaws dropped. Cumberland thought he had heard wrong and asked Lu Sheng displeasedly, "What nonsense are you talking about?" Lu Sheng ignored him, simply touching his forehead and grinning with a smirk. The next moment, a burst of golden light shone, revealing Lu Sheng's true face to everyone. Lin Jingyue was shocked, almost losing his mask, not expecting the domineering young man in front of him to be their Dragon Nation's Lu Sheng. As he spoke, the energy in Lu Sheng's right hand grew stronger, and his first step plan was to start by shattering the high tower. With that, Lu Sheng slammed a heavy strike towards the ground. As a roar sounded, the ground began to collapse and crack, and the indestructible Tower of 1,000 Saints started to crumble. "The Tower of 1,000 Saints is going to be destroyed. Everyone get out." The next second, everyone jumped down and surrounded Lu Sheng angrily. Immediately, under the attack of the crowd, a huge energy explosion erupted from beneath Lu Sheng's feet. According to the smoke and no harm law, Lu Sheng was inevitably fine. By now, Cumberland was already furious and stepped forward to demand who the man from the east was. Unexpectedly, before he could finish, Lu Sheng punched down. Under this strike, Cumberland, along with the ground, was blasted by a column of golden light deep into the earth. Lu Sheng waved his left hand nonchalantly and spoke softly, "Only if you win will I tell you." Seeing this, Cumberland no longer held back and charged at Lu Sheng with all his might. It was his carelessness and not dodging that allowed Lu Sheng to hit him before, but this time he was determined to tear this man apart. However, just as he was about to touch Lu Sheng kicked him away again. As the high and mighty Cumberland flew over their heads, everyone was momentarily stunned and could hardly believe it. Cumberland roared, "What are you staring at? Come and help." As soon as the words fell, Lu Sheng stomped him deep into the ground again. At this time, the surrounding martial saints, belatedly realizing, could not believe that the world's Martial Association president, the Martial Alliance chairman, and globally top 5 ranked martial saint Cumberland could not defeat a mysterious 8th level youth. Beaten badly, he was asking them for help, but faced with a mere great grandmaster like this, they collectively rushed forward in anger to kill this detestable person. However, just as they were about to make a move, they were distracted by the huge energy crystal quietly lying below. Without hesitation, they turned and flew towards the energy crystal. Even if they randomly stripped a piece, it was more than in previous years. But just as they were about to touch it, Lu Sheng's voice slowly fell. "The spoils of war are only for the final victor. How can you break the rules?" As he spoke, a shadow flashed beside the man, and with Lu Sheng reappearing behind him, the man's body was hollowed out by Lu Sheng. Finally, the man's life force disappeared instantly, staring dumbfounded at his pierced body, unbelieving that his glorious centuries were thus abruptly and miserably ended. As the man fell, Lu Sheng slowly spoke, "I wonder which other little greedy cat doesn't want to follow the rules." A distant bearded martial saint was so shocked he wet himself and quickly asked, "Harold, who exactly is this person? How can he be so powerful?" Hearing this, Harold had an innocent look. "How would I know who this god is? I'm just a worker. It's an honor to be his uncle for a few days." As people spoke, Lu Sheng once again raised his energy-gathering right hand and coldly said, "This battle will be recorded in the annals of history. In the year 317 of the martial era, 21 9th-level powerhouses, battle saints." As the words fell, Lu Sheng's hand transformed into a heavenly blade, chopping down from the sky towards the group of martial saints. The golden blade light kept expanding, splitting mountains and rivers, and breaking clouds, causing the sky to fall and the earth to split. Bursts of explosions echoed throughout heaven and earth. The surrounding martial saints exerted all their strength to withstand this blade's power. Was he trying to destroy the entire island? Some powerful martial saints were unconvinced and wanted to join forces to take down Lu Sheng. Soon, under the full force of the martial saints, avatars tens of meters tall began to rise around them. At this moment, they had already won in terms of momentum. Facing an 8th-level great grandmaster without an avatar, the martial saints clearly had the advantage, and with the collective force of so many martial saints heaven and earth, the opponent was bound to be severely injured if not killed. From a distance, Lil Yu and others watched this scene in disbelief. Though he had already guessed that the person was Lu Sheng, he was still shocked to see it. Dong Xingyi hid under a rock to watch the battle, only then understanding why the opponent had been holding back against them earlier. Damn it, after all these twists and turns, it's Lu Sheng, this brother-in-law, who's beating people up again. At this moment, the most excited on the battlefield were undoubtedly our military's old marshals. Damn, this is the future god of our military. I knew it. Where in the world are there so many monsters that defy common sense? Such a genius deserves to be worshipped as a god by our military. Our military shall thrive, truly thrive. One man battling more than 20 martial saints. At this moment, Fiona was in a state of panic, not understanding why the man she fancied had suddenly changed his appearance and then started fighting with all the martial saints. Why? Her pride, the martial saints, had become so embarrassed. A female official by her side pulled her to quickly evacuate, otherwise, no one could protect them. But before we dive in, a quick shout out to today's sponsor, NordVPN. Usually when you browse the internet, your data goes straight to the website. But with NordVPN, everything gets encrypted and rerouted through one of their secure servers, keeping you safe from hackers, trackers, and even your internet provider. provider. The coolest part? You can choose where that server is. Want to watch US-only content? Or access sites from Japan or Europe? Just click the country on the map and you're in, all without sacrificing speed. In fact, NordVPN is the fastest VPN on the planet. I've been using it a lot lately, especially for streaming stuff that's blocked in my region. With NordVPN, I can virtually travel and access the content I want anytime, anywhere. You'll find an exclusive offer down in the description and the pinned comment, and it's completely risk-free with 30-day money-back guarantee. Thanks to NordVPN for supporting the channel. Now, let's get back to it. After a moment of silence, Lu Xing quietly stood on top of the energy crystal and suddenly smiled and spoke. It's been a long time, Tan Martial Saint. Your avatar has yet to show itself. Keeping it hidden. Don't you know to give it your all unless you feel pain? I will smash your will projection countless times in the 7th Martial Saint Tower, and now I finally have the chance to beat you in person. However, despite the strength Lu Xing displayed at this moment, Tan Zhongyu still looked disdainful. Speaking of which, Tan Zhongyu drew a long sword from his trousers, then slid his finger along the blade to emit a flash of light, and lightly called out, "Drifting clouds." The long sword stood above his head, with points of cold light flashing at the tip, and then he swung out a very fast sword. Bright blade. Instantly, a dazzling starlight exploded in the sky, and the sword intent enveloped the entire battlefield. Even the martial saints nearby couldn't help but feel a chill seeing this scene. Lin Jinghua finally saw Tan Zhongyu make a move again. The invisible strike. That's his ultimate skill. This scene, however, puzzled the surrounding martial saints. They saw the posture but couldn't see anything else. Only Lin Jinghua, of the Dragon Nation, knew that Tan Zhongyu had undoubtedly made a full effort just now. Simultaneously, she was also shocked that Tan Zhongyu had reached such a level. The move was silent and imperceptible. The next moment, with lightning wrapped around his body, Tan Zhongyu lightly shouted, "Strike the heavens." As soon as the words fell, an invisible blade in the sky approached Lu Xing. Lu Xing's expression tensed. He could sense something invisible was quietly approaching. Then, he picked up with 2 fingers, clamping the invisible blade above his head. Quickly, the collision of the 2 forces caused the ground beneath Lu Xing to instantly dent, shaking the ground for several seconds. The equilibrium of the 2 forces caused an energy storm to spill outward, instantly filling the surroundings with missile-like powerful explosive storms. Under this explosion, the nearby martial saints were blown back half a step by this force storm. Lin Jinghua was terrified. She had never expected Lu Xing to easily block Tan Zhongyu's invisible strike. At this moment, Lu Xing revealed a light smile, a bit of something, but not much, almost nothing. With that, Lu Xing snapped Tan Zhongyu's sword blade with a flick of his finger. Seeing this, Tan Zhongyu's shocked sweat poured out by the ton. However, Lu Xing gave him no chance to be dazed, appearing in front of him with a fist as big as a sandbag. How about that? Feeling a bit more awake now. As soon as he finished speaking, Lu Xing punched Tan Zhongyu, sending him flying. Tan Zhongyu flew back hundreds of meters before slowly stabilizing his form. Tan Martial Saint, if you don't use your avatar in full strength now, you might not get another chance. Although this punch was strong, it didn't substantially affect Tan Zhongyu. Hearing this, Tan Zhongyu flashed back above the rocks. The humiliated Tan Zhongyu was already furiously contorted. Lu Xing, boy, I underestimated you. Let me show you properly. As he spoke, he continuously gathered blue-green energy in the palm of his hand, followed by a swirling force that encircled him, as if all the surrounding energy had become a tool at his disposal. Let me show you the divine power of Tan Zhongyu. You will pay for your foolishness. This terrifying scene was very strange to those around. They didn't expect Tan Zhongyu could manipulate such vast heaven and earth forces. Soon, the surrounding sky and land were tumultuous, with energy continuously gathering, and finally, a giant sword appeared as if stepping through the void, with surrounding dark auras and purple energy enveloping this part of heaven and earth. Just watching from a distance below, one could feel a sense of oppression. Even space itself started to tremble slightly. This is that Eastern Martial Saint's avatar. The avatar was over 1,400 meters tall. Probably even Cumberland couldn't match it. Unbelievable that the Dragon Nation's bright Jade Martial Saint could be so terrifying. He was promoted to the 9th level less than 20 years ago. No wonder Cumberland previously said he wanted to recruit him as the vice president of the Martial Association. It seems true now. Lin Jinghua was confused once again. Having been a Dragon Nation Martial Saint for decades, she had no idea Tan Zhongyu's power had already reached such a level. Tan Zhongyu coldly spoke, "My will is like a knife, to cut through everything." Lu Xing, you wanted to use us 9th levels as a whetstone, wasn't I also? Today, I must thank you. I have a premonition. After this battle, I will break through to a higher realm. As soon as the words fell, a blood-red giant blade fell from the sky, sweeping through space like the Grim Reaper's scythe, flying towards Lu Xing. However, Lu Xing, still with his hands at his crotch, seemed oblivious to his opponent. Despite this extraordinary giant sword that could harvest countless strong fighters crashing down, Lu Xing chuckled. "Ha, did you know? I have seen blade lights 1,000 times more dazzling than yours." With that, Lu Xing's left hand gathered strength, readying his 5th realm boxing technique. Soon, Lu Xing's fist collided with the giant sword thousands of times larger than himself. Instantly, heaven and earth shook, the ground cracked, and energy drifted everywhere. Sounds of space terror tearing apart, as if this place had become a hell on earth. This scene left the distant crowd agape, their titanium alloy dog eyes almost blinded. What kind of power is this? Under the intense fluctuation of power, Lin Jingyue's beautiful face was revealed to the audience for the first time. The two forces confronted each other for less than 2 seconds, and the powerful giant sword could not advance even a bit under Lu Xing's fist. The next moment, the giant sword quickly cracked under Lu Xing's fist. Then, the cracks spread across the entire blade, and in an instant, the seemingly invincible giant sword began to dissipate and destroy. As the avatar was destroyed, Tan Zhongyu's whole body was in disarray, looking like he could collapse at any moment. Muttering resentfully, why? He couldn't understand why Lu Xing was so strong, and during his speech, he spewed out 3 tons of grape juice. Afterwards, he lost his strength and fell into the sea. From then on, Tan Zhongyu's martial spirit was broken. Lu Xing's existence became a thorn in Tan Zhongyu's heart, and even a wall blocking his martial path. Watching Tan Zhongyu slowly sinking into the sea, Lu Xing disdainfully said, "You just said, a whetstone? Do you, Tan Zhongyu, even qualify?" Seeing Tan Zhongyu, who was so much stronger than them, also fall at Lu Xing's hands, the surrounding martial saint powerhouses were all frightened to the point of collapsing on the ground. However, Lu Xing didn't intend to let any of them go, slowly walking towards those martial saints. "Did you think I called you here to watch a show?" Seeing the arrogant Eastern man, an irritated martial saint launched an attack. After all, he was still a martial saint. How could he tolerate such humiliation without acting? However, before he could strike, he was blown away by a punch from Lu Xing. "Don't forget, you group of martial saints, I called you here to take it." With that, Lu Xing flashed into the crowd and began his beating spree. They didn't know what kind of monster Lu Xing was, a single person who shattered all their martial saints' avatars. Lu Xing chuckled nonchalantly, seemingly unsatisfied with the intensity. Seeing this, the martial saints were even more enraged to the extreme, planning to join forces in a fusion burst, determined to slay the 8th level young man in front of them. Lu Xing was speechless. A group of supremely arrogant martial saints. Now you finally think of ganging up? How laughably dignified. With that, Lu Xing channeled an immortal energy through his body, then once again entered into combat with the martial saints like a ghost. However, even though the martial saints had now joined forces to attack Lu Xing, they were still beaten by Lu Xing like they were nothing. Even their combined strike was shattered by Lu Xing in one hit, sending them all flying back hundreds of meters, vomiting blood. The terrified crowd once again grabbed Harold, demanding to know who this 8th level young man was. But how could Harold know, begging people not to ask him anymore, as he was already so scared that he had wet his diaper. After all, he was just a bottom-tier martial saint. Seeing this, Lu Xing once again increased his mockery. Too weak. Are you all useless? Can't you display a bit of your 9th level strength?" Hearing this, a man clutched his chest and cursed angrily, then even more so, pulled out an energy crystal from his trousers ready to eat. With a gurgling sound as he chewed in his mouth, the man's eyes turned blood red, his figure transforming into something demonic. This seemed to be his berserk beast mode. Although it was somewhat harmful to his body, his strength also increased several times. The next moment, the man rushed towards Lu Xing, shouting, "I want you dead." As he spoke, a strange purple compressed energy burst from his palm towards Lu Xing. Lu Xing was heavily slammed against a rock wall by this strike. If it were a regular martial saint who had been hit directly like this, they would almost certainly be dead. But at this moment, dust swirled around Lu Xing, and according to the smoke without harm rule, Lu Xing was naturally unscathed. Lu Xing touched the small trace of blood at the corner of his mouth and laughed. "Yes, that's right. Give me some pressure. Try to kill me, you losers." Seeing that the recent strike by the martial saint had an effect, the other martial saints began consuming their lifespan and swallowing energy crystals to forcibly increase their power. They couldn't believe it. Could a level 8 martial artist really beat all of us martial saints? With that, one after another, the frenzied martial saints attacked Lu Xing with all their might. Lu Xing was knocked around, but unbeknownst to them, Lu Xing was deliberately not resisting. This time, Lu Xing was hit thousands of times. Space trembled a bit due to the various energies tearing through it. Yet Lu Xing's body seemed to have no significant fatal injuries. Finally, Lu Xing was blasted downwards with a powerful kick. 2 seconds later, Lu Xing laughed. A golden robe slowly appeared on his surface. Then the energy of immortal cells fused at this moment. Even more powerful energy surged out of his body. In time, golden domineering energy enveloped Lu Xing's entire body. Strikes of thunderous power mixed with domineering energy tore through space, as if the energy between heaven and earth was uniquely his. The martial saints below were terrified, realizing that their recent attacks had been in vain. This surge of power throughout his body, yes, this was the kind of pressure Lu Xing wanted. With that, Lu Xing roared skyward under the pressure of this power. Golden energy burst forth even more vigorously. Just the spillover energy alone destroyed everything around it. A huge energy fireball turned the ground into a sea. This surge of energy made it impossible for the opposing martial saints to stand. They had never seen such power before. Although the outsider above them was strong, it was rare to see such a display of power. Soon, Lu Xing formed a huge magic circle above his head. The magic circle began to collect the dispersing energy. Otherwise, this small island might be destroyed by Lu Xing's uncontrollable released energy. After everything, Lu Xing was transformed anew. knew. Not only did the golden energy gradually stabilize, the golden lightning also completely integrated and connected with this power. As a cracking sound echoed, Lu Xing finally broke through again. At this moment, he became truly invincible among humans, reaching the real pinnacle of humanity. Everyone felt the aura emanating from Lu Xing at this moment. Did he break through to level 9? If he could fight so many people at level 8, isn't level 9 like slaughtering dogs? The monster has come, run. If you don't run now, it'll be too late. At this moment, Lu Xing's image reached a new height in the hearts of the military marshals. Wow, that is the true god among humans, the ultimate in humanity, the ultimate light, the ultimate power. That is our god of war. However, at this glorious moment, a purple figure was quietly and quickly leaving the sea level. She could hardly describe Lu Xing's power in words. The reason she hadn't dared to swallow energy crystals and fight desperately just now was partly because both she and Lu Xing were from the Dragon Nation, and she had had a slight fondness for Lu Xing before, and partly because she felt that even if she swallowed and fought desperately, she would not be his match. Now she felt it was like witnessing history, witnessing an epic being written stroke by stroke before her eyes. Many things on this planet had already changed. A new era was arriving, and the ruler of this era was him, Lu Xing. Lu Xing also felt at this moment that these 300 years of level 9 martial artists were still too weak. Even with 20 of them using energy crystals to enhance themselves, they could not bring about a qualitative change. There were too many just filling numbers, really giving no real pressure. In this battle, Lu Xing even suppressed some of his power just to not kill them instantly. Still far from the ultimate state, Lu Xing was now in a semi-playful state, not feeling any sense of crisis, because he clearly felt that letting these martial saints hit him, these wastes could not kill him. Originally, when he had 22 immortal cells, he could withstand a level 10 strike. Now with nearly 300 immortal cells, being killed by a level 9 would be a joke. Lu Xing now felt he was only half a level 9, not yet fully reached. The fusion of martial body and spiritual power was not complete. It seems he could only pin his hopes on the soon-to-arrive guider. Don't disappoint me again. Afterward, with hands in pockets, he landed in the Dragon Nation military camp and asked if he could go back to Dragon Nation with the marshals later. This act of taking sides left the marshals flattered, quickly shouting, yes. The marshals were overjoyed, saying, cool, so cool. The marshals were so elated. They had been seeking success for 200 years in vain. It turns out that God was holding out for a big one for them. Humanity's pinnacle, truly a jackpot. They also felt that their suffering had finally paid off. Just then, a pair of old jade feet slowly approached from behind. It turned out to be our World Martial Association president, Cumberland. He reluctantly spoke. I acknowledge your strength, but taking all the energy crystals will bring you ultimate disaster, even the destruction of this planet. You need to think carefully. Hearing this, Lu Xing confidently smiled. Let the guider come find me himself, then it won't implicate you. Upon hearing this, Cumberland was terrified, initially thinking to use the guider's strength to suppress the person in front of him, but Lu Xing was clearly also aware of the guider's existence. At this moment, Cumberland's mouth hung open in shock. What exactly does he want to do? But the guider, surely not. The next moment, the martial saints on Thousand Saints Island all silently watched Lu Xing leave, as if they were watching a living deity. At this moment, Lu Xing's stature was at a height that no one in history had ever reached before, and it was uncertain if anyone would again. Soon, Lu Xing arrived at the military's return plane, ready to board, but suddenly, a female voice behind him stopped Lu Xing. It turned out to be our nation's great beauty, Fiona. At this moment, her feelings for Lu Xing were beyond extrication. She had deeply fallen in love with this powerful and somewhat domineering man. She slowly approached behind Lu Xing, tremblingly said, you haven't told me, what is your real name? However, Lu Xing indicated that his name wasn't important and told Fiona to forget him. He also mentioned that he already had a fiancée. Watching Lu Xing's departing figure, Fiona felt bitter, and finally, she cried, tears streaming down her face. The only time in her life she had fallen so deeply in love with someone, her emotions surged like a tide. Seeing this, her father stepped forward to comfort her. Let him go, daughter, just like he said. Forget him, Fiona. You and he were never meant to be. Just then, Fiona's eyes suddenly became resolute. It seemed she knew what she had to do. Speaking under her father's puzzled gaze, she left the place. Meanwhile, other martial saints behind her were tearfully asking, all the energy crystals from this conference were just taken by him. What do we do now? Cumberland could only grit his teeth. What else can we do? Just wait for the guider to arrive and let this so-called pinnacle of humanity know what the price of breaking the rules is. Yes, the guider will help us teach that ignorant man a lesson. The invincible guider will bring us justice, and then it will be your death. You cannot escape the guider's grasp. Meanwhile, on the other side, in the Eastern Military District Commander's manor, Lu's family was making dumplings. Dong Qingxue, not seen for a long time, came in with tea. The family greeted her cheerfully, the atmosphere harmonious and delightful. At this time, Qingyi reluctantly said, ah, Mom, if you wanted to eat dumplings, you could have just asked the chef to make them. Why bother doing it yourself? Especially since they don't taste as good as theirs. Lu's father, however, said, Qingyi doesn't understand. No matter how great a chef, the dumplings they make don't have the flavor of your mom's. Your mom's cooking is unmatched by anyone. This flattery genuinely made Lu's mom burst burst into smiles. "Oh, where have you heard such an exaggeration? I just thought it's been so long since I cooked. I wanted to practice my skills. Otherwise when little Shin comes back and wants to eat, if my skills are rusty and it doesn't taste good." Qing-hee, watching his parents show off their love, was quite speechless. Yes, brother is the most important. But speaking of which, it's been so long for Big Brother. Qing-hee asked Dong Qingxue if she knew when Big Brother was planning to come back. Lu's parents also expressed some concern. Although saying so, Dong Qingxue herself was at a loss. Just as everyone's spirits were down, Dong Qingxue's phone in her thigh vibrated. Ah, that's not right. Dong Qingxue was puzzled who would message her at this time, but suddenly in a moment, she ran out, leaving the family puzzled in place. Thinking something was wrong, the family also followed Dong Qingxue out. Lu's mom asked Dong Qingxue, running out so suddenly, "What's the matter?" The next moment, tears fell from Dong Qingxue's eyes, reddening her cheeks, because the lover she had longed for had finally returned. At this moment, Lu Xing walked towards his waiting family with joyful steps, wearing thigh-high stockings and slippers, running towards Lu Sheng. Dong Qingxue could no longer care about her appearance, quickly running towards him. Then she hugged Lu Sheng tightly. "I've been waiting for you for a long time. This visit, thank you for taking care of my parents." At the same time, Lu Sheng also called out to his parents and sister behind him. Family is also moved to tears by this scene. Mom said, "It's good to be back. It's good to be back. The most important thing for a family is to be together." Just then, Lu Sheng also joined the dumpling-making brigade. Lu Sheng, listening to his family's chatter, had a look of firm realization. This unparalleled sword of his, and home is its sheath. After dinner, the two went for a walk in the backyard. At this moment, Dong Qingxue, like a little girl, snuggled up to Lu Sheng's shoulder, wanting to cherish every second with Lu Sheng as much as possible. Just then, Lu Sheng looked at his wife Dong Qingxue and said, "Remember when we first met? It was about this time too." Before Dong Qingxue could respond, Lu Sheng bravely embraced her. "Take my parents back to Baiha in a few days. I'll deal with some things, then join you at your home. Our matters should also be settled." At this moment, their faces were inches apart, and Lu Sheng kept slowly getting closer. Finally, Lu Sheng kissed her, their first kiss, captured in this beautiful scene. Meanwhile, elsewhere, the marshals were playing a video of Lu Sheng's battle with global martial saints across the military district. The scene had the soldiers boiling with excitement, undoubtedly thrilled and vindicated. Today is destined to be a day remembered by all my Dragon Nation comrades. 200 years of expectations fulfilled, welcoming the Transcendence Azure Planet's god of the military of all martial saints. Besides this tremendous honor, there is another matter. The god of war, Lu Sheng, entrusted me to promote this body refining technique throughout the army, asking everyone to take a look. Hearing this, the other marshals were utterly astonished. The body refining technique advocated by the god of war? What kind of supreme technique could that be? As the marshal played the video, the figure on the screen was clearly teaching the body refining technique. This set of movements in body refining technique truly shocked those present. In the video, these seemingly simple movements, yet just watching and simulating in their minds, they felt many marvelous inspirations arise. Not only that, their own martial arts were enlightened, as if opening the doors to a new world. At this moment, everyone was extremely excited. Hearing this, the marshal spoke softly. "It seems you have already felt it. This set of body refining technique appears simple, but in practice, it's exquisitely unique. According to our preliminary tests, the effect is at least 100 times stronger than our current body refining 24 styles, and the development of human potential is also 100 times. It can be said to be a blade opening a new era of martial arts, an immeasurable treasure of martial arts. Truly, heaven blesses our Dragon Nation. Only someone at the peak of martial arts, Lu Sheng, could create such a great martial arts technique." Just then, someone from the audience raised their hand to ask, "Such a precious body refining technique really should be promoted throughout the army? After all, once this thing is implemented, it might not be long before it leaks out, and then, I'm afraid." Before he could finish, the marshal interrupted him. "The god of war, Lu Sheng, has already said that this is a martial arts technique that benefits the entire planet. This is truly the magnanimity only a saint of martial arts could possess." Hearing this, all the generals were shocked by Lu Sheng's breadth of vision, realizing that they had lived over 100 years in vain. Lu Sheng truly had a vision as wide as the stars in the galaxy, not only in martial arts prowess but also far ahead in foresight. We should all feel fortunate, for we are about to witness a new era personally forged by the god of our Dragon Nation military. As he finished speaking, the entire building erupted with deafening cheers. Meanwhile, in a military camp in the Eastern Military District, a handsome guy was doing one-finger push-ups, 3549, 3550. Yes, this is the long-unseen Lu Sheng's close buddy, Lu Qiming. With daily high-intensity training, he had now become a handsome man with well-defined features. Hearing someone shout at him, "Lu Qiming, stop training," he collapsed to the ground, and Glasses Guy hurried over with two pieces of great news. Lu Qiming let him start with the first one, to see how significant it was. The first piece of good news: our military has a new god of war, a martial saint-level powerhouse, the 4th 9th level martial saint of Dragon Nation. Lu Qiming was utterly shocked and quickly asked, "Who is it?" Glasses Guy said, "It's not disclosed yet. Some speculate it might be General Lu Sheng, but since Lu Xing disappeared in the coastal area a year ago, he thinks it's unlikely. As for the second piece of good news, it was the new body refining technique promoted by the military, said to be created by the god of war. Its effectiveness 100 times our previous practice. Many in the war zones broke through their martial bottlenecks on the day they practiced the new technique, significantly increasing their strength. I've brought it with me, all on a USB drive. This indeed was a cause for celebration. Saying this, Lu Qiming grabbed Glasses Guy and headed towards the martial arts room. Meanwhile, Lu Xing was secretly watching his buddy leave from a distance. The deputy nearby was reporting to Lu Xing. Lu Qiming has been working very hard. His strength has almost reached a second-level martial artist and is quite outstanding among the new recruits. Because of your instruction, we haven't sent him on high-risk missions. Afterward, Lu Xing instructed the deputy to take extra care of him in terms of resources, but not to let him notice. After giving his instructions, Lu Xing left the Eastern military camp with a laugh. Lu Qiming is one of the few friends Lu Xing has in this world besides his family. Lu Xing only wishes for him to live a peaceful and happy life. Soon, under the promotion of the body refining technique, mid and low-level martial artists successively announced their breakthroughs in cultivation. The god of war is fierce. I've been stuck at level 3 for years and broke through today. With a god of war in our military, from now on, when we see disciples of martial saints, we no longer need to feel inferior. Meanwhile, in the training room, Lu Xing felt a continuous stream of sensations, as if every time Lu Xing was praised or mentioned, he could sense it. This very peculiar sensation made Lu Xing feel like he possessed divine abilities as in the myths, gaining worship from thousands, a blessing for eternity. Like in the novels he had read before, where the power of gods came from their believers, it indeed made Lu Xing feel like he had acquired a divine attribute, seeming to have gained a regenerative divine talent. I shouldn't become a god, but a symbol. Martial arts is me. I am martial arts. In this way, all those in the universe who practice martial arts naturally become my disciples. In another martial saint tower at the moment, Tan Zhongyu, currently recovering from the injuries inflicted by Lu Xing, suddenly opened his eyes the next moment, exhaling a breath of turbid air. He and Lu Xing followed different paths. Otherwise, they would not have parted ways in the first place. He had never expected that the young man from back then could now easily defeat him. Life is really unpredictable. Tan Zhongyu touched his injured chest, his spiritual path now marred with cracks. The previous battle had too great an impact on him. The next second, Tan Zhongyu sighed and chuckled. Even if Lu Xing is stronger than me, it doesn't mean Lu Xing's path is the right one. Lu Xing is only in his 20s. To reach such an invincible state among humans, he wouldn't believe it's without some fortuitous encounters. At this moment, he recalled Lu Xing's refusal from back then. If one day I become a martial saint, I will shatter the high towers, break the martial arts heritage, and spread martial arts across the world. Thinking of this, Tan Zhongyu couldn't help but laugh out loud. Lu Xing, do you really intend to share all your knowledge generously with others? Now Lu Xing is stronger than me, so Lu Xing is right. But if one day I, Tan Zhongyu, become stronger, then my path will be the most correct. At this moment, Tan Zhongyu's fists clenched, his spiritual path slowly recovering, his confidence in fighting spirit also once again laid bare. Actually, it's just a matter of months. Lu Xing is about to face great trouble. His boldness in taking all the energy crystals, once the guider arrives, will surely lead to his certain death. Just then, his disciple came in and said, Lu Xing has made new progress. Lu Xing is promoting a new body refining technique in the military, with astonishing results. Saying this, disciple showed Tan Zhongyu the surveillance footage from the military. Lu Xing has made his martial arts public. Now anyone who wishes can learn from him. Hearing this, Tan Zhongyu's whole body couldn't help but tremble. He didn't expect Lu Xing would be willing to share all his knowledge. He really did. Saying this, Tan Zhongyu's legs gave out, and he knelt on the ground. Such magnanimity from Lu Xing. It's more than just astonishing. At this moment, the spiritual path Tan Zhongyu had just managed to repair completely shattered. He lost, completely and utterly. After the widespread dissemination of the body refining technique, Lin Jingyue went to the courtyard where Zhao Ji was located. As the door to Zhao Ji's room opened, a curvaceous figure appeared before him. Zhao Ji wondered why Lin Jingyue had come back so early this time. Could it be that the guider had arrived very early? Lin Jingyue took off his hood and mask and slowly said, the guider hasn't come yet. Hearing this, Zhao Ji became even more puzzled. Then what are you doing here? The spirit nurturing elixir hasn't been exchanged yet. Do you have your own? Lin Jingyue said, none of that matters anymore. I came back mainly because someone wants to meet Zhao Ji. Zhao Ji looked puzzled. At this time, I can't think of anyone who would want to meet me. Could it be Tan Zhongyu? Saying this, Zhao Ji spoke disdainfully. What for? To mock me? Lin Jingyue, we had an agreement beforehand. You took my energy crystal and promised to protect me fully. Give me some clarity. What does Tan Zhongyu want? Hearing this, Lin Jingyue slowly shook his head. The one who wants to meet you is someone else, someone very familiar to him. Saying this, a figure quietly appeared behind Lin Jingyue. Zhao Ji was puzzled, unable to think of anyone else. Lin Jingyue pointed ahead and opened his mouth. It's the pinnacle of humanity. Mr. Lu Xing wants to meet you. Surprise. At the sight of Lu Xing, Zhao Ji's expression turned to utter panic. This was someone he had never expected to see. At that moment, his legs weakened with fear, and he stumbled rolled backwards. You, Lu Sheng? As Zhao Ji remembered the recent address by Lin Jingyue. What did you just call him? Hearing this, Lin Jingyue nodded. The pinnacle of humanity, Mr. Lu Sheng. I will return everything you gave me. In front of Mr. Lu I can't even protect myself, let alone protect you. Zhao Ji was stunned. The pinnacle of humanity, Mr. Lu? A martial saint calling someone else Mr. On the entire Azure planet, how many can make a martial saint so humbly address them as Mr.? None. Only the guider, a level 10 guider. Speaking, Zhao Ji stuttered as he asked Lu Sheng. Are you? Could it be you've reached level 10 now? I was just healing from injuries for a short year. What exactly has happened outside? Lu Sheng paid no attention, slowly approaching Zhao Ji. The intense pressure made it difficult for Zhao Ji to breathe. He now gave Zhao Ji two options, live or die. Zhao Ji was so frightened by this scene that he nearly wet himself. Seeing Zhao Ji's useless chatter, Lu Sheng immediately decided to make a choice for him. The next moment, Lu Sheng grabbed Zhao Ji's head and began to rub it, causing dizziness. A stream of consciousness forcibly entered Zhao Ji's mind through his eyes. Lin Jingyue, from behind, thanked Lu Sheng for sparing Zhao Ji's life. Though he was not particularly close to Zhao Ji, they had known each other for many years. Previously, both being one of the three great martial saints of Dragon Nation, both had contributed to the nation. Zhao Ji, having undergone Lu Sheng's mental baptism, now babbled like a fool. Lu Sheng said, there's not much to thank me for. Although Lu Sheng didn't kill him, Zhao Ji might as well be dead now. Lu Sheng just erased most of Zhao Ji's memories and randomly added some new ones. This was akin to removing a piece of his martial soul. With a damaged soul, he will never return to his peak in this lifetime. Even reaching a level 7 Grandmaster would be tough, so it's better to reform him, to have him do something more meaningful for the world and humanity. Lu Sheng felt he was increasingly embodying the demeanor of a martial ancestor and a saint. This breadth of vision, this grandeur, was truly admirable. Lu Sheng said, Zhao Ji's memories are still reorganizing. He will naturally wake up later. Sure enough, 5 minutes after Lu Sheng left, Zhao Ji's confused consciousness finally cleared. He was amazed to find himself still alive. Zhao Ji clenched his fists and laughed loudly. Heaven hasn't forsaken me. Let me, Zhao Ji, live another life. Then, he began to tear up again. You all died so miserably. He gritted his teeth in anger, a surge of resentment filling his heart. I must go back. I must have my revenge. Those who killed my family must pay a bloody price. But speaking of which, how could he return to his original world? Just then, Martial Saint system panels appeared in front of Zhao Ji. The system task says, kill 10 million exotic beasts, achieve the task target, summon Martial Ancestor, receive Martial Ancestor's inheritance. Martial Ancestor, is that the great power that sent me to this world? Definitely, otherwise who else could have made me reincarnate? The arrival of Martial Ancestor means that as long as I complete the tasks issued by the system, not to mention returning, even reviving my parents in Susu might be possible. To receive the great inheritance, one must go through great trials, but 10 million exotic beasts is only a matter of time. I will eventually achieve it. Saying this, Zhao Ji immediately wanted to head to the front line. I want to kill exotic beasts. I want to reverse everything in this life. Watching the foolish Zhao Ji, Lin Jingyue couldn't help but express his astonishment and asked Lu Sheng, how did you do it? Lu Sheng replied, it's not worth mentioning, just utilizing waste, just a little trick of will simulation. After all, so many messy memories have been absorbed in the dream space. Just extract a bit and weave together, then instill it into Zhao Ji's little brain, and presto, a shiny new Zhao Ji appears. As for those system tasks and such, it's just Lu Sheng improvising. From now on, Extreme Way Martial Saint Zhao Ji will dedicate his life to the great cause of human civilization fighting against exotic beasts. Truly moving, he's really fortunate. As the two slowly walked towards the exit, at that moment, Lin Jingyue spotted Lin Wanwan hiding behind a large tree and peeking. Saying this, Lin Jingyue suddenly shouted angrily, Lin Wanwan, what are you looking at? Get back home. She could only send her daughter away like this. After all, she's still unsure about Lu Sheng's temperament. If Lu Sheng took her as a voyeur and got angry, she definitely couldn't stop him. However, regarding Lin Wanwan, Lu Sheng had heard about her from Dong Qingxue before, and his impression was still okay. Seeing that Lu Sheng had been staring at her daughter, Lin Jingyue seemed to understand something, asking, does Mr. Lu take an interest in my young daughter? If you don't mind, I could agree on Wanwan's behalf. Hearing this, Lu Sheng waved his hand to refuse. I already have a fiancé. It's no big deal. Before the first year of martial arts, it was common for men to have 3 wives and 4 concubines. Not to mention now, Mr. Lu, with your spirit of heavenly grace and pinnacle of humanity genes, having another descendant is a huge contribution to the entire Azure planet. Seeing the misunderstanding, Lu Sheng said, I'm not interested in little girls. Hearing this, Lin Jingyue's misunderstanding deepened. Little girls? Not interested? Saying this, Lin Jingyue straightened up, a proud figure with a faint scent of widow's paulownia flowers appearing in front. Lu Sheng was truly startled by Lin Jingyue's move. Lin Jingyue, squeezing her large pineapple-like bun, spoke awkwardly, my husband died young, and I have been single for many years. Serving you would not be unacceptable. This scene absolutely shocked the young Lu Sheng. Lu Sheng felt as if he had somehow become entangled in some widow's drama. Transcendence Martial Saint, please have some self-respect. I'm not that kind of person. To To avoid awkwardness, Lin Jingyue immediately changed the topic. Does Mr. Lu really not intend to return that batch of energy crystals? Hearing this, Lu Xing's eyes suddenly became sharp and serious in response. What? Can't they not be returned? The guider comes from the cosmos, from a higher level of martial civilization. Even at the same level, our Azure planet's martial artists are not on the same level as theirs, not to mention that the guider is level 10. So she thinks that although Lu Xing is formidable, this matter really needs careful consideration. Seeing Lin Jingyue seems to understand these guiders and the martial civilization behind them quite well, Lu Xing asked his wife Lin Jingyue to explain in detail to him. Lin Jingyue, lifting a strand of enticing hair, spoke softly. Not much, just that I've lived long and heard a lot. Saying this, Lin Jingyue's palm displayed a holographic screen. Our Azure planet is a level 6 resource star within the Serpent Star system, while the guider comes from a powerful battlefield star. Lu Xing roughly understood. Level 1 resource star, battlefield star? This is the classification of planets by advanced martial civilizations, right? Lin Jingyue confirmed. Correct, like our Azure planet, because it contains star-level resources like energy crystals, but not many, so it's classified as a level 1 resource star. As for a battlefield star, I guess it's probably near the exotic beast battlefield, where the fighting is intense, just like our planet's zones guarding the rifts. Besides battlefield stars and resource stars, there are also scenic stars with beautiful landscapes and spectacular sights but few resources, civilized planets suitable for living, and even garbage stars specifically for dumping trash, each with their own rank and use, just like the Brahmins. Lu Xing felt this was pretty much similar to sociology. Lin Jingyue continued. According to the guider, any planet has the potential to transform into a battlefield star. Once an exotic beast invasion occurs and the level of invasion becomes severe enough, it will turn into a battlefield. Our Azure planet actually has the potential to become a battlefield star. Lu Xing looked at Lin Jingyue questioningly, wanting to understand what she meant. The guider comes every 10 years, not only to collect resources but also to check the state of exotic beast invasions on the planet. So, you're saying that the entire universe is at risk of exotic beast invasions? Seems so. Every civilization is trying hard to mitigate this crisis. After exchanging some information, Lu Xing suddenly felt much less pressure on him. The matter of the exotic beasts had the tall ones to bear. He finally didn't have to play the so-called savior anymore. With his current capabilities, managing Azure Planet well and continuously strengthening the lower and middle forces of Azure Planet was a boundless merit. Lin Jingyue mentioned, according to the guider's intentions, their Azure Planet will eventually develop into a true battlefield star, at which point humans will no longer be able to live on it. But that is still many years away. As long as nothing unexpected happens, we are sure to grow old in this era of peace. Hearing this, Lu Xing's face turned pale, and he immediately told Lin Jingyue to stop talking, as casually setting flags is a big taboo. Lin Jingyue was shocked by Lu Xing's yell, thinking they had encountered some major trouble. After composing himself, Lu Xing did not explain but also asked Lin Jingyue if she had any plans to leave this Azure planet. Lin Jingyue expressed that she did not want to, wanting only a house full of children and a peaceful life for her remaining years. Martial arts is too long and too hard. Although I aspire to the view at the top, it's just an aspiration. I know reaching martial saint is already my limit. I've spent most of my life fighting for martial arts. It's time to leave some time to do what I want to do. Mr. Lu, if you want to leave Azure Planet, then you definitely should not offend the guider. Whether it's the path to advancing to level 10 or the road out of Azure Planet, it's all in the guider's hands. After all, with our current level of technology, we are far from being able to build a spacecraft that supports space travel. But Lin Jingyue's words were not wrong. Wanting to leave isn't just about enhancing strength. Without technological support, that step cannot be taken. Level 10 martial artist Lu Xing is not clear, but level 9 is definitely not enough for physical trans-space travel. Seeing Lu Xing still unwilling to step back, Lin Jingyue didn't persuade further. She then talked to Lu Xing about the guider's high-end technologies, like spacecraft and others. Talking and talking, Lin Jingyue once again reminded Lu Xing, really not considering our mother and daughter? This sudden change of topic made Lu Xing, the young chick, blush. Ah, what were we just talking about? If Dong Qingxue agrees later, it's not that I can't reluctantly, grudgingly, under compulsion, marry a few more little wives. Ah, I myself still strictly implement monogamy. It's just that I can't stand to see other girls cry. As the evening approached, Lu Xing was invited by Lin Jingyue to stay for dinner, during which all the acquaintances appeared, including his uncle. In the middle of the night, Lu Xing returned to the dream space again. He intended to check the information about space, to compare it with Lin Jinyue's information, but found that all the data turned out to be fake news, which was strange. His personal permissions were still at level 10. It seems to reach a true level 9, or to officially defeat a level 10 powerhouse, would be needed to raise his permissions to level 11. From future descriptions, Lu Xing fighting the guider in October, surviving 3 moves without dying, and breaking through to level 9 3 years later. It seems his current strength is still quite far from matching the guider, only enough to ensure he doesn't die. Good. Lu Xing wanted just that kind of power that almost kills him but doesn't quite manage it. Given giving him pressure, then creating a breakthrough motivation. As Lu Xing continued scrolling, he wanted to see what changes lay ahead. What he found next shocked Lu Xing because it showed that 5 years later, Lu Xing would fall in the destruction war of Azure Planet, dying at the age of 28. My split cauldron. What the hell? I'm dead again. This time even the Earth is destroyed. The data did not change again. It seems this is the Dream Space's projection of the most likely future based on currently gathered information. Something must have happened that he doesn't know about, or he missed some critical information. What is it? Capable of causing the destruction of the entire Azure Planet. Even Lu Xing breaking through to level 9 Martial Saint couldn't resist. Level 10 powerhouses definitely can't do it. Only those above level 11. Level 11? Either from space or from the rifts. Could it be it? If it escaped from the abyss, it could indeed destroy Azure Planet. Although it's not impossible for this world to face myriad crises, it's utterly unclear what exactly would destroy Azure Planet, which is really frustrating. All thanks to Lin Jinghua for recklessly jinxing us. If not for her, perhaps this crisis wouldn't have arisen. It must be her fault. Just this morning she said we could live out our days in peace, and by evening, a catastrophic crisis arises. She must take the blame, but there might still be a way. After all, I still have 7 or 8 years until I'm 28. There's a lot that can be done in 8 years. It's a disaster for Lu Xing now, but perhaps in 8 years, it could be waved away easily. If all else fails, can't we just flee? The worst case scenario would be to take all my loved ones away from Azure Planet, but I can't in good conscience abandon the billions of compatriots on Azure Planet. Damn it, it's all Lin Jinghua's fault. I must become stronger, much faster, and powerful enough to change all of this. 7 days after the training ended, Lu Xing and his spouse will return to his hometown, ready to formally propose to Dong Qingxue. The encouraging looks from his parents behind him comforted Lu Xing, although Lu's mother was a bit reluctant to let her child leave again so soon. But Qingxue is a good girl, and it's time to settle things sooner rather than later. Lu Xing pulled Qingxue towards the airport. My wife Dong Qingxue asked Lu Xing if he was nervous. Lu Xing awkwardly laughed. Ah, you should ask your dad about that. I think he's more nervous than me right now. Meanwhile, at Dong Qingxue's home, Dong Dad was leisurely reading the newspaper and drinking coffee when he suddenly choked on coffee powder. Forgot to pour the water. Black. Dong Mom was speechless. You picked up the coffee to drink before even brewing it. Are you still half asleep? Saying this, Dong Mom hurriedly fetched boiling water to make the coffee. Dong Dad awkwardly admitted he was just too nervous. Is it necessary? It's just a son-in-law visiting. You make me nervous just talking about it. Dong Dad grimaced at Dong Mom. What would a woman know? Who is he? The military's god of war, pushing aside all saints, the pinnacle of humanity, any one of his titles and records. That's a huge aura, enough to make one's heart race, not to mention all combined in one person. If I didn't know before it'd be okay, but yesterday Dong Xingyi secretly confirmed it, so all these old folks from our noble families are convinced. Dong Mom puzzledly spoke. How did such an amazing person end up taking an interest in our daughter? These past few days I've been feeling dizzy, like I'm living in a dream. I feel the same. I, Dong Chending, thought before I turned 70 that having 2 sons was my life's greatest pride. Never thought, actually, my greatest achievement was having a 3rd daughter. Dong Mom happily covered her face. Maybe it's really the ancestors' blessing, and thankfully the daughter takes after me. Otherwise, it'd be a mess if she was like you. Just then, Dong Qingshua's text message rang out, indicating they had landed and would disembark in 3 minutes. Seeing this, the elderly couple immediately caused a stir. So soon? We need to inform the staff below not to treat that person as just my son-in-law, but to honor him like an ancestor. The Qin and Wang families have also caught wind of this and are rushing to Great Rain Mount Airport. Do you think that's appropriate? Should we send them back? Dong Dad said there's no need. After all, both families had given him a heads up. They are old friends, and by rights, they should come to greet. As the plane slowly landed, the area beneath the airport was already solemnly awaiting. The uniformly arranged crowd made the entire welcoming ceremony feel full. Even the newly disembarked Lu Sheng and his companion couldn't help but be somewhat shocked. Seeing Lu Sheng come out, the entire crowd shouted greetings and indicated that the motorcade was ready, asking the grandee for directions. Damn, are they planning to clear the way all along? When Lu Sheng first began practicing martial arts, he quite envied those high and mighty martial artists, who wherever they went were followed and fawned over, feeling very majestic and cool. But now, he's rather indifferent to the glamour of splendid attire and even a bit resistant. Indeed, the higher the position, the more one loses the simple joys of being a commoner. After a whisper between Lu Sheng and his spouse, they decided to go on their own. The next moment, Lu Sheng scooped his wife Dong Qingxue into his arms. Into the onlookers, it seemed as if a flash of light passed by, and the couple miraculously disappeared. The shocked crowd's mouths hung open. Their long-awaited dignitary just vanished before their eyes. Quickly, Lu Sheng stopped a taxi more than 10 kilometers away. As for why not just fly straight there, it was mainly a bit too conspicuous. They headed towards Great Rain Mount Clear Lake Courtyard. The sweet-talking taxi driver even thought Lu Sheng and his wife were celebrity couples. After all, with such looks and demeanor, he ranked them first among all he had seen in his many years of driving a cab. What's the old saying? A golden boy and a jade girl, a perfect match. Haha. Seeing such a sweet-talking driver, Lu Sheng later later decided to let Dong Qingxue give him an extra 200 yuan tip. Dong Qingxue shyly nodded her head. Half an hour later, the car stopped. The driver was startled by the roadblock ahead. Wow, is some big shot coming today? Such a grand setup. Can you guys get in? It looks like the barricades are up. Is this a private place? No problem, we'll sneak in. After receiving a generous tip, the driver didn't ask further. Right now, the scene outside the Dong family estate was extraordinary. Truly a sea of people. Who knew that just meeting the in-laws would have so many spectators? It seems the couple can't just walk in like normal people. The next moment, the couple noticed Qin Xiaojun in the bushes ahead lighting a mosquito coil. As voices rang out from behind, Qin Xiaojun turned his head and was startled by the sudden appearance of the couple. Lu Sheng, seeing Qin Xiaojun's smiling face, teased, seeing a general and not saluting, stand at attention for 10 hours. Qin Xiaojun immediately bristled. You're too much. Man, don't forget who helped you win Dong Qingxue. Just kidding with you. Don't take it seriously. Long time no see. Instructor Qin. Ha ha ha. Long time no see. Lu Sheng, did you guys come back this time because you heard that news? Lu Sheng was a bit confused, not knowing what news. Hearing this, Qin Xiaojun proudly said, you guys really don't know? The god of the military. He beat up martial saints all over the world. You could say he's transcended martial saint. And that new body refining technique promoted in the military a while ago. You must know about it, right? That's his work. That body refining technique is truly groundbreaking. An awkward moment as Dong Qingxue spoke. Is it really as rumored that powerful? Defeated all the global martial saints? Lu Sheng, have you fought him? I only know you beat the extreme way martial saint. At this moment, Lu Sheng could only think about how to explain later, not expecting the military to keep this matter so tightly sealed. Just now he was worried that too much pomp would expose him, but seeing the scene at the Dong family's gate earlier, it seems his family might already know. He wanted to tell them later, not knowing if Qingxue would be upset to find out she was the last to know. Qin Xiaojun spoke again. Lu Sheng, what happened after you severely wounded and escaped from Zhaoji last time? Because when I checked, it became top secret. Tell me about it. Heh. Speaking of which, you're also a martial saint level powerhouse now, only a bit inferior to that person. Dong Qingxue spoke. You know it's top secret and still ask. He hasn't even told me. How would he tell you? Ah, you didn't ask me. Dong Qingxue glared at Lu Sheng. Dare to contradict me? Ha. Lu Sheng quickly conceded. Let's go inside and talk about it. I heard that the big shot is coming here. Qin Xiaojun was taken aback. I thought you guys knew about this and rushed back on purpose, but it turns out you know less than I do. Dong Qingxue was puzzled. What would such an important person want at their Dong family's home? According to Qin Xiaojun's insider information, it's said that he's coming to choose a bride, not just from the Dong family, but he will also visit our Qin family afterwards, and he might even pick from the major families of the several dozen cities in the capital province. You know, the more important the person, the more valuable their genes are. Seeing Dong Qingxue's anxious expression, Lu Sheng was so frustrated he almost spat blood.